Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Chaturthi Vyavastha, the fourth system of arranging the Samskrita Varna, the Samskrita alphabet, the Varnamala, using some criteria. Why are there four systems actually? Why are there so many systems? That's because when we have close to 60 or maybe 64 if you consider in the Vaidika system, when we have 64 elements, there are bound to be some criteria or some similarity or commonality which these 64 elements share, and hence depending on what criteria you are choosing to categorize them, an arrangement is born. Therefore, now this is the fourth and the last system, fortunately the last system, called the Prayatna system, where now in the Utpatti Sthana we answered the question, where is it born? Where did you come from? Now here we are asking the Varnas, how exactly are you pronounced? How exactly did you come to school? Did you come by your bus? Did your father drop you? Did you come cycling? How exactly did you come? That is what we shall be addressing. This question shall determine which arrangement these varnas are put into. Now, Sanskritam being so logical, as was previously witnessed by you all in the Maheshwara Sutras, and probably most of you were blown away by the intellectual genius, in fact, of intellectual capability, the logical foundation that Panini had, in fact, which was a very good contribution to Samskrita, the language itself, just as Shakespeare has contributed a lot to English. And so, being a symbiotic relationship between Panini and Samskrita, both have nourished each other. And finally, we have the fourth system, for unfortunately being the fourth, because this is slightly tricky, and tricky in a sense that it includes a technique which is weird and which most people would have not noticed at all. That is how the tongue, where it touches, what the facial expression is as we pronounce that, and how our mouth changes or deforms as we pronounce each of them, and what is that vibration or the echo if we find any in the throat, how much pressure do we apply. All of this, which is a very physical aspects of physical as well as maybe probably physiological aspects of the tongue, the throat, the vocal cavity, the oral cavity, and the mouth, the lips, etc. All of these are considered in this vyavastha, this prayatna vyavastha. That it is, for example, when you are pronouncing the word Samskritam, and let me warn you, it is not Sanskrit as many people have understood it as, or they have been calling it, even if they have known it, it is Samskritam. And it is not good that we twist people's name. In fact, no one likes their names to be mispronounced. And so does Samskrita, I believe. Samskritam, right? Let's start a protest against people if they say Sanskrit. It could be an anglicized version of Sanskritam, but that is not right. You don't anglicize people's name. Let the proper nouns be as they are. So now that's a digression there. Now prayatna are of two types, internal and external. That means abhyantara and bahya prayatna. Abhyantara, internal, bahya, external. So what they are, this is a very condensed form. This is a summary, in fact, of the long discussion that goes on in the grammar books. Now, first of all, internal prayatna. Prayatna means a pronunciation which involves all of these physical characteristics of the lips, mouth, all of that is what is prayatna. So what is the internal prayatna? Internal prayatna is what is touched, how long does the tongue touch it? So sprishta is the tongue touches these varnas for quite a good duration. So it could be ka, cha, ta, ta, pa, and it's not like just the 5 of them. It is the ku, which means the entire row. It is ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, ta, ta, da, da, na, ta, ta, da, da, na, pa, 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 ma, all of them. All of them, these are the Vargiya Vyanjanas, in fact, are called the sprishta, just touched. Only touched. Touched for a good duration. Touched. That's it. So now that was good. Done. 25. Majority of the Vyanjanas are done. 25 done. Of the 33. Now the remaining 8. What are they? They are split into 2. One, the Ishat Sprishta and the Ishat Vivrita. The 2 and the 4, Ishat Sprishta. Ishat means a little, instantaneous, instant, Ishat. Right? You see the similarity there? Ishat, instant. Instant Sprishta is touched. That's how. Now this also means that are not exactly the Sprishta category. They're not touched exactly or completely by the tongue. Now that is a hint as to say to classify the yara lava into the semi-vowel category. It is a semi-vowel. It is not exactly a vowel, neither is it completely belonging to the category of a vyanjana or a consonant. So it is a semi-vowel or a semi-consonant, anything you can use. So that these are the yara lava. Now the vivrita, the opposite of sprishta would be, vivrita is with an open mouth. E, U, R, A, I, O, Au. All of them with no hesitation, we have to open our mouths and pronounce them. Although people can try doing it with a closed mouth, like ventriloquist, and you could try it yourself as well. But the clear pronunciation is only when you open your mouth wide open. Yes. So then that's also a good suggestion, and we can see the correlation where we use the swaras, the first of the swaras, the leader of the swaras, since it is vivrita, which is an open mouth. There is, I think, a passage in the Vedas which says the universal sound, the Om, was born when Brahma, the creator, yawned and opened his mouth wide, or the universe was born out of it. When the Purusha, the ultimate being, the great creator, he yawned, opening his mouth wide open, and the first pranava, the newborn, the ever new child, the ekakshara Om, flowed out from was born from his open mouth. So vivrita meaning open. Then we have, so now you see this yara lava, which is placed between the vyanjana and the swaras, are actually literally placed between the vyanjanas and the swaras. They are semi-vowels in the characteristics as well as in the prayatnas they are used. These yara lava are also called the antasthaha. Now this is a very fun experiment you can try. You keep a good clean paper, a hygienic paper, cover it with your mouth and try pronouncing yara lava. You would see that the paper, and do it with an open mouth, when you pronounce them, you see the paper goes inward. It gets deformed and it goes into the cavity of the mouth, which means by moving inside, you are taking in air, which is why when you're taking air inside, there is a partial low pressure region in the oral cavity, because of which the paper gets folded inwards. So it is called the antasthaha. Anta means inner, internal, internal. Antasthaha. You take the breath inside, inwards. So it is called the antasthaha. Stha meaning which stays there inside. Then after the swaras, we have the Ishat Divrita. Now this is why the reason of putting ha in twice in the Maheshwara Sutras, Shasha Sar and Hal, as saying shall, meaning Shasha Sa and Ha. If you haven't watched the Maheshwara Sutra video, please do so. It would be a bouncer for you if not. Isha Divrita, Shasha Sar and Hal, shall would be the Pratyahara there. And Ishat meaning a little, instantaneous. Vivrita means open, a small stretch in the mouth, a small opening. It could be because sha, sa, ha can be pronounced by just parting the lips a little bit, but not as much as the swaras for a clear pronunciation which they demand. And finally, the Samvrita, which is a closed mouth. Now you would be asking, this is a silly man, how can anything be pronounced if the mouth is closed and the tongue is not touching anything? That is true, but you try it for yourself. As you do the Brahmari Pranayama, you close your mouth, you don't touch anything with your lips, your tongue. So you just say, you just hum, you become that's what. And people and the scholars would classify that sound, that murmur, that humming sound also as the original sound but this is more spiritual and more yogic in the sense of being samvrita. But in fact, is to be considered in Vyakarana in for all practical reasons as being the vivrita prayatna, as being the open mouth pronunciation. The sound, the murmur, the sound, which is not actually with effort that you are pronouncing the ma. For ma, you are not actually pronouncing, you have to close your lips down and touch it with your tongue. But for the Samvrita Prayatna, you need not touch anything with your lips nor with your tongue, but just the small parting in the lips, which if it happens by itself, or even if it doesn't, that sound which we get, that is the sound which is theoretically and spiritually the sound, but practically it is the Vivrita sound. Now the external prayatna, the Bahya prayatna, is where we discuss what is the effort that you put into pronouncing them. What is the breath? How much breath do you use? The first one is the Alpa Prana, meaning a little breath. The first three, 1, 3, and the fifth column, which is the Ka, Ga, and Nga. In the first, in this, the first column is Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa, Ga, Ja, Da, Da, Pa. The third one, fifth one, Nga, Nya, Na, Na, Ma. You pronounce them without much effort. So these are called the Alpa Prana, less breath. Prana, less effort or less breath here itself. And then we have the Mahaprana. Mahaprana, a lot of breath you have to use, a lot of effort you have to make. Kha, cha, tha, tha, pa, gha, ja, dha, dha, bha. And then sha, sha, sa, ha. You expel air out. So it is also the Mahaprana. You expel air out here. And one thing that we missed here is the Shashasaha are called the Ushmanaha. Ushmana meaning breathe out, expirate. Sha. Now we were speaking of the little experiment here, putting the paper on your mouth. When you say sha, sha, sa, obviously you would blow air, and so the paper would bulge outward, convex. So that's called the Ushmana, meaning breathing out. Now the other category is the Karkasha and the Mridu Vyanjana. The Karkasha Vyanjana, because they sound harsh, these are the first two columns, which means Ka, Kha, Cha, Cha, Ta, Tha, Ta, Tha, Pa, Pa, and then Sha, Sha, Sa. All of these, they have something in common, which is first is these are the Vivara. Now there's a typo here. Vivara should have been here, which means an open cavity, like the Vivrita sounds. Vivara, which is untouched by the tongue. Then Shwasa, these are used by a single breath, which means they can't be elongated as much as the other category, which means you can't say that would sound very ugly, which is why probably they said it karkasha. You can't say, you can say g, that nada, that prolongation can be explicit in case of the mridu, whereas in the karkasha category, you have to say k. You exhaust your breath by instantly saying the k and k, p. If you try it, you can try, it's a fun experiment to elongate p. That would be the sound. But you can see that there are some breaks in when you say you stop for a little while and then the k again comes back. So there is a discontinuity, which is what probably that is meant by shwasa. And aghosha meaning they don't have that much of a capacity to echo, which means in an echo you would be better off using words with the mridu vyanjana, the mridu letters, than with karkasha. For example, if you are stuck in a cave and you want to shout out for help, then you have to use words with these things, which are the third, fourth, and the fifth column, which is ga, gha, nga, ja, jha, nya, da, dha, na, da, dha, na, ba, bha, ma. Correct. The third, fourth, and the fifth column, and then yara, la, va, ha, yara, la, va, ha. Let me just show you that. Yes, here. Third, fourth, and the fifth, and then yara, lava, and finally ha. Poets say that these are very, since poets are more sensitive than us, they say these words used with hayara, hayavara, la, and then with the gajada, daba, gajada, daba, and nganyana, nama, all these are said to be mridu, kind, mridu or soft. Karkasha are the harsh consonants, harsh and mridu. You might notice one thing here, that the swaras are not included here at all. The swaras are all from the abhyantara prayatna, which is the vivrita. See, all the swaras come here. Here is only all the vyanjanas are being classified again through the external, the bahya prayatna. Now, so continuing the discussion, so ka, kha, cha, cha, all of these don't have a tendency to reverberate. So see the detail that people have gone through and they have tested it out. You can do it yourself. There is no belief here. You can try it, experiment for yourself, and tell me the results of your experiment below in the comments. Aghosha, which is non-reverberating, non-echoing. So sha, sha, sa, they say gets exhausted quickly in a single breath, and they are less useful in echoes and reverberations. But the samvara, which are pronounced with a blocked cavity, g, g, and nada, which means shwasa is instant touch of the tongue once. That's it, done. You use your breath once, you touch with your tongue once, that's it, done. Whereas in the nada, you have to use, if you're very aware of yourself, of your mouth especially, you will see that when you're pronouncing g, g, j, j, you pull back your mouth, your tongue, and then pronounce it. So there's a small oscillation that goes on, and an oscillation always produces a nada, a musical tone, or nada, that prolongation, that up and down is called the nada. So these musical instruments also, they're called the nada, the veena nada, venu nada. So these, because they always are, they have a resemblance to that oscillatory motion. Similarly, even in our tongue, which does a very small to and fro motions, so that produces the nada. And also these sounds also have a mumbling reverberation. These are good for echoes. G, g, j. The next time you go to a cave, do try it out. Or if you are in a closed room which has an echo system, you can try it out and let me know. So now ha also is included within this in the samvara, nada and the ghosha, ha. Which is why I think for this Brahmari, Pranayama, etc., and in other systems, you use hum, the ha, which is here in the Mridu Vyanjana, and the ma, which comes in the fifth column, right? Pa, 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 ma, the fifth letter. Nya, ma, nga, na, na, the fifth one. So these are very mridu, so it suits the body. And also, it has the nada. It has this characteristic elongation in itself as an oscillation, as a vibration, as well as it has the mumbling effect. You can still hear the mumbling bee, the bumbling bee. You see that effect is long lasting. That is why we use the hum thing. Even the om, it has the ma here for the very same reason. Is what I would reason it out to be. That is a one good cause why rishis would have used om to denote the supreme. Now this is the yajna. Now why is all of this important? All of this is important because first of all of this evolved from the Vedas, where the yajna was performed, which demanded that good pronunciation, clear-cut pronunciation was of the day, was of the need of the hour. Otherwise, small variations in the mantras would lead, could possibly lead to negative effects. But that is to be explored through science and whatever acoustics and etc. all of that field. I urge scientists to do so. And for good pronunciation would lead to better brain development, it seems. I don't know. I have not tested it out for myself, but papers and research, some of those research do say that when children are allowed to chant Samskrita mantras, they have a soothing, first of all, a soothing and peaceful effect. And second is their pronunciation increases, the capability to pronounce anything increases, and hence they would have a good pronunciation in other languages, in their mother tongues as well. And also these mantras are in the spiritual domain said to create good vibrations and positive effects in the body and on the mind. Moreover, it's just a fun thing to try out these pronunciations for ourselves. It would be a good tongue twister. Our tongue development would increase, I bet. Let's just try out Samskrita mantras, just not even Samskrita mantras, just try the Maheshwara Sutras for yourself. Try pronouncing all of these and verify if the categories that are put under are actually so. Let's just be conscious of how we pronounce things, and that spiritually is said to be the way to Shabda Brahma, the supreme sound. In the next set of videos, we shall discuss how the swaras are. Swaras have a different connotations, intonations, accent, etc. But for now, we shall end with these prayatnas. Dhanyavadaha.